In your own time.
What do you want me to say first?
Alevai.
Alevai.
Alevai, I beg your pardon.
Please God.
Can you think of any words that have crossed over into the general usage?
The word chutzpah means being bold, being arrogant, being cheeky.
A mensch is a very lovely person. Could be a man or a woman, and they're a mensch. They're kind, they're lovely, nice person to know.
A schmuck is an idiot, or could also be construed as male sexual.
Wonderful.
The kinder went upstairs for a little schlock in their schmatty pyjamas while their sedate parents were downstairs getting shikker on Kiddish wine. Bless you. Gesundheit.
A crank or a crank, if you'd like to say it that way, is really, she's always got a crank, she's always got something wrong with her. It's always, even a sore finger, what a crank she's got.
Tell me, would you go down to the shops here on Bury New Road and use some of these words? You were passed on these words by your parents and grandparents. What about your children and grandchildren? Are they using these words, or is it dying out?
When you've got a newborn baby and they're growing up and they're about 6 months old and they get all chubby and gorgeous, you want to squeeze their polkies. You want to squeeze their thighs. You can't keep your hands off the polkies.
There's been a disaster, there's been a bit of an accident, and you're all choked up. And that's verklempt. You can't get your breath back, and it's bad news if you're verklempt.
If somebody's kvetching about something, they're moaning, they're groaning, I don't want this, I don't like that, send the dinner back, they're kvetching.
Fress is to eat. Let's go fress, let's go and eat.
You have to be careful what you say to a yachne.
Mechule, it describes when a business goes bankrupt or into administration.
I actually put this on today and thought this is looking for shimmelt.
In a daily life, we've all got sorrows, we've all got our own troubles, no matter how big or small.
Many words are still used, is that right?
I'm in the middle of nowhere, or the place is in the middle of nowhere. Or you could say, my friend lives in Alishvat's Yoren, middle of nowhere. I can't even tell you exactly where, it's a strange area.
So, a tochus is a bottom, a lecker is a licker. So it's someone who licks someone's backside is the literal meaning. However, really it's someone buttering up to someone.
I keep trying to explain to my friend various different situations, but he's such a stick glomp that he doesn't understand anything.
Shmushki is a lady's front bottom. Need I say any more?
Spilkes is, it's like somebody that's on pins, they can't sit down for long, they sit down, they get up, they walk about. So in other words, it's nervous energy, absolute energy, where you just, so if I was like moving about a lot, I couldn't sit in one place for long, I'd be on Spilkes.
And schmondry, knickknacks, gifts, little ornaments.
Thank you so much. Wonderfully pronounced, wonderfully described.
We lived on Leicester Road near Broughton Park, and I have a brother and a sister, and we would go on a Shabbos to see my grandma. There was fighting, there was shouting, there was arguments. We all wanted to play with the same toy. I think at the end of the day, my mum and my dad and my grandma were so pleased for everybody to just go home and get a bit of peace.
You're not supposed to study astrology when you're a woman, and especially then I was under 40, so it wasn't the done thing. I did the chart for... So he's a for years, and is very, very from. He finished off, asked me to do a chart. I said, I'm under 40, I'm a woman, and I'm not allowed in the Jewish religion. He said, well, I won't tell anyone if you won't. And I ended up doing his chart for him. He used to phone me up, would you do the transits, please? And it was really marvellous. Because you don't believe in it. You're not supposed to. It's an Accompanying. If you print it. Might be good for you, but it's an Accompanying for the story of Yiddishkeit.
This is my great-grandfather, Louis Strauss, and this is his van with the name and the number of his shop on Very New Road. I'd like to live like by the sea, or somewhere that's a bit more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. But I don't mind living here. It's okay. It's good. There's plenty going on. Plenty places you can go to from around here.
Right, my name is Diane Dreyer. I worked at All Wises, the glass and china shop, and I also, for 28 years, which I've just retired, I worked in King David Junior's. I've got my own home. I haven't got my husband anymore, but we're friendly. Yeah, I am very, very happy. My mum passed away, so I'm not schlepping all the time to Liverpool, but I'm looking after the baby whenever they need it, and it's just, yeah. Maybe that's why I don't miss school. Yeah, she's an angel. She's gorgeous.
Our great-grandma, Oliver Sholem, who was Henrietta, she was a very good friend of Emily Pankhurst's, and I have got the story here about her as well. Tied herself to the railings, women's rights, that was who she was, and she fought for women's rights.
I was brought up in Manchester and was brought up in, between Bury Old and Bury New Road, always from the age of 7. That's my mum's family, my mum's mum and dad, and their wedding day, so it's my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and all their family. These people, they really did a hard slog to keep the families going, and people were dying and they were adopting or helping bring up, children of people who had died. That was my grandma and my papa. They did that. They took in somebody else's daughter, and they had a family of 4 of their own, and they were on the breadline, and that's what they did in those days.
You know what? If the cake is unto hate, they want to use my kitchen. What can I say?
sounds delicious. Say kasha for distress. Now you're speaking Yiddish like the apple dipped in honey or the pear dipped in hummus. You know you're on the money cause our sound is nutritious.
Down, welcome. We lived off Bury New Road, actually, St Mary's Road, and we used to go to Bury New Road to the shops every Saturday with some spending money. And my brother used to buy clothes for his action man, and I bought clothes for my Cindy doll. You've got your different areas, so you've got your very religious community, that's a different area, then you've got sort of mixture, and then you've got your, I don't know, conservadox, whatever you want to call it. But it's, you know, you say hello, you go to the same shops, you know, Shabbat Shalom, buying a chicken, you know.
I have always felt I've kind of led a double life. You know, I'm Jewish, and then I lead a life where I'm not, where I'm just mixing with everyone. I don't even think about it anymore, but I do have a tendency to tell people I'm Jewish when I don't need to, just so if they're going to be anti-Semitic, throw it at me straight away. I don't feel there's tons of anti-Semitism everywhere. I don't. I think we've blended in, you know, from top to bottom and inside out. But I do think that if you tell somebody you're Jewish, their perception of you changes. I remember being in a conversation with a load of people, and we just mentioned about how much things were costing. And they said, well, you're a Jew. What? What? It's like, what? It's mad.
I teach maths in a college in Middleton. I'm not very Jewish, but I'm proud of the fact that I am, if that makes any sense. And you know, it's quite often one of the first things I'll tell people, more often than not, because I've heard a bit of anti-Semitism of people not knowing that I'm Jewish. So rather than letting people get themselves embarrassed and in a sticky situation, I tend to sort of get it out there straight away, because so many people I meet in life are not Jewish. I sort of like let them know and then see how it goes from there.
It's about being Jewish, it's not about
religion.
Yes, yes. It, you know, having something in common. No matter, you could be on the other end of the earth, and if somebody's Jewish, you've got something in common with them.
Oh yeah, it's a bond.
Yeah, and you know, you don't have to explain things. If you've got a movie star on the television or somebody in a film, and there's a, you know, he's Jewish.
Yeah, Jewish, straight away.
I like that more. It's true.
I'm Jewish. You know, it's more about tradition for me than the religion. You go up Bury New Road, you go to the Marks and Spencers, you're going to see somebody you know, hi, how are you, la 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 la, you know, all this business. It's a community, and you do see people, you know, just walking up and down, or in a cafe or a restaurant at night. So, no, it's nice to see people, you know, it's nice to say hi, how are you.
The smells going into my mum's on a Thursday, coming from school, and the smell of the chopped and boiled, the chopped and fried fish, the place that she would cook. The aromas were just something else. And I make roast potatoes, but they don't taste like my mum's roast potatoes. My mum's chicken dinners was something to just behold. And I can make chicken dinner, and they're very tasty, but they're not nowhere, they don't come anywhere close to the taste that my mum's dinners were.
I don't know, Jewish man.
I think anyone's been, quite frankly.
Yeah, let's put more in one big
I think.
Well, like I say, you can put one man on the moon, why can't you put them on?
And leave them there.
Not many of us went to uni. It was the next generation down, or maybe 10 years more younger, started going to university and having that life. I would love to have done like archaeology, or I love history, or sort of criminal pathology, and just all sorts of different things. In those days there was no such things as duvets. Everybody had eiderdowns and candlewick bedspreads, flannelette sheets. Once the duvets came in, I started to sell all the duvets, the covers, the matching curtains. So I wasn't standing on Daddy's toes, but I was still selling a similar sort of household textile. I was stood there like Hiawatha sometimes with one of Dad's bedspreads around me because it was so cold. It was really, and had to come in, and the only way you could get warm was by having a hot bath, and circulation would come back. Sometimes it was really bitter cold. Yeah, it wasn't easy, but it was a way of making a living.
Cheers,
Shalom.
Linda. Shalom.
Nice with a schmatter. All those reruns of Never Mind the Quality Feel the Wind. I knew they were coming out there. Oi gewalt.
Oi gewalt. Oi gewalt is basically oi gewalt. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Can you tell me what Oganvey means?
Ochenvey?
Yes.
Ochenvey means, oh dear me.
So it'd be a great shame if the language did die out, but wherever there's a Jewish community, it will live on. And no more than here amongst this wonderful group of ladies. Thank you so much.
Well done.